afternoon.
By 2
I
minutes.
can say that. By 2 minutes. Am I expecting someone?
No.
No? Well then,
Unless you want to get someone from the audience on stage, no.
unless I want to have somebody from the audience, would somebody like to join me on stage? No, seriously, you don't want to do this. I'm going to be honest with you. It's intimidating.
I got apple juice.
Sold. Find your way to the main stage. No comment. Okay, well, now we're getting into some gray areas. I don't think I need any apple juice this morning. Woo. Okay, all right. Yeah, Fergus is like, let's do this, man. I'm like, it's so early, but okay. Do we like Adam? Is he? Yeah, he's all right. Feared of that whole Irish thing.
Money.
They're magically delicious. I digress. How was Jared this morning? I heard he was awesome. Yeah. This was me this morning. Eating some eggs. Drink a little coffee. We ready to go? Okay. Where's Jared? No, has not. Oh, nobody's heard from him? Have you knocked on the door? Just no answer. Interesting. I'll go get him. Door creeps open. What? We have work today. Again? Yeah, 2 days. Now? No, not now. An hour ago. Always the big brother. All right, let's take some questions. Let's start over here. Hi.
Hi. That would be great beginning. Okay, so if you were one of the hot guys of Magic Mike movie, what would be your signature move?
This may go down as being the greatest question ever asked. My signature move?
Demonstrate it.
Not my signature move. My character's signature move.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi,
His name is Fantastic Fred. And his signature move is a little something like this. But pantless. You don't want to be in the front row for that one, let me tell you. Delete the last 5 to 10 minutes of... Oh, there's so many phones. My mom's gonna see that. This is embarrassing. But it's Magic Mike. Which is also embarrassing. Poor Channing. He's done 2 of them now? Is he working on a 3rd one? Probably. Slut. I'm just kidding. I love him. I don't know him. He's probably a slut. Thank you. Hi.
Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have a question for Dean. We were playing Would You Rather, and we figured this would be probably a hard question for Dean. Would you rather give up your 5 favorite kinds of food or give up sex forever as Dean? Including pie and hamburgers.
Oh no, Dean could live on salad for me. Fine. That's cool.
I don't think so.
No, you didn't. You know.
No, we thought he was going to go for the sex.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yes.
Sex. S-E-X. Let's be clear.
There's already a gift for that.
Misha thought it was a stupid question too. So.
I don't think it's a stupid question. If you, yeah, because like, let's see, top 5 favorite foods would be pie,
Burger.
burgers,
Fried.
tacos, maybe pizza, and beer. And I think he could probably put those aside if he had to, because he's a lover of the ladies. One of the many things we have in common. Thank you. Hi.
I'm always fascinated with how accurate the lore is in Supernatural. Like the writers do a really good job of like telling actual stories that actually exist. And there's actually a really good podcast, Lore, if no one's ever listened to it. But has there ever been a character or anything on the show that like you do additional research on? Like you're like, well, that's kind of an interesting thing, and I wonder if there's something more to that.
A lot of times if they're introducing kind of a new subject or a new storyline or a new lore, they'll put in the script a description of where it's based from, where it came from, the history, and you know, all the background of that particular lore or character or monster or whatever it is. So we're fortunate enough to have writers do a lot of the due diligence for us. And
That's really awesome.
yeah, no, and they're amazing. Like there's a reason that the stories continue to be intriguing, in my opinion, for 12 years, because we really have amazing writers and writers' assistants, and the whole office down there in LA is they're pretty incredible with what they come up with, and they do their research, they do the work.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Hey. It's not working. I can hear you. I'll repeat the question. Go ahead.
I think that the most amazing thing about him is his ability to show his feeling without saying a word. And that's because of you. So first of all, I want to thank you for being such an amazing actor. And in the episode...
She's just complimenting me right now. She's saying that I'm a moderate actor, and that my feelings are kind of portrayed well on script. I'm sorry, is it working now?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I say that you're an amazing actor.
Thank you.
So, in the episode regarding Dean, you had to face a new challenge, which was portraying a new version of Dean. So my question is, what were the differences and difficulties between that specific version and the other ones?
That was one of my favorite episodes of the season, simply because it was, and I think I've said this before, so if I'm repeating myself to a few of you, then forgive me, but it gave me a chance to really play. And as somebody that enjoys portraying a character for a living, to, after 12 years of doing so, to be given an opportunity to really kind of stretch different sides or different facets of that character was exciting and fun. And it was, I just remember there was a lot of comedy that I was able to do, which I love. I don't think I'm a comedic actor. I think I just have an affinity towards comedy filtered into drama. And all of that, I was able to do a lot of that in that particular script. But then when it kind of came full circle was when I was when Dean was in the bathroom and it was with the mirror scene. Yeah. And then it got to a totally different tone and kind of got real. And I remember it was at the end of the day, been a long day. We'd shot all of the stuff that you saw in the motel with Rowena, her touching my nose, all of that, which wasn't scripted because Ruth's just awesome. So yeah. It's so fun working with her because I never know what she's gonna do. And so when she did that, I was just like, well, that caught me off guard. But she's so great because she can catch us off guard, which is hard to do. But anyway, so we shot that entire day. All of that motel stuff was in that same day, and then we moved into the bathroom, and we shot the scene between Dean and Sam, where Sam's like, "It's okay, we're gonna fix this." And then the very last thing we shot, so Jared gets wrapped, Ruth is wrapped, and they set up a camera right in front of the sink. So there's no mirror, it's just a camera lens, maybe this far from me. And then camera operator, focus puller, boom operator, dolly grip, and then like the whole crew. And I just remember thinking, I was like, okay, just imagine it's a mirror. And thank God I have a good imagination. And I remember telling John Badham, who directed that episode, I remember telling John, I was like, look, it's late, everybody wants to go home, this is the last scene of the day, just keep the cameras rolling. I'm just gonna go through the scene a couple of times. So normally you do the scene, you cut, right? Cut, the bell goes off, everybody breathes a sigh of relief. Okay, we're one take down. Take two, they come in with a marker, they slate it, they roll camera, roll sound, that whole thing. I just was like, listen, we're not rolling film anymore, so just let the camera roll. It's digital. It's ones and zeros, that's all it is. Let the camera roll and let me just do this a couple of times and get myself into this. Let me imagine that the mirror is in front of me and not a camera and an operator and a focus puller and whatever. So John just let me go, and I was really happy with the way that turned out, and I hope you guys were too, so yeah. I do remember, because it was one take, but I did the scene like 3 times, and then they yelled cut after I did it 3 times, and I think they used the third rendition, maybe the second rendition, I don't remember, one of them, but they yelled cut, and I was like, nailed it, good night guys. And then that was it, I just walked to my trailer and we were done with the day. But getting it in one take is always kind of a prideful thing, and it also helps production because we can move along quicker. But nailing it in one take, even like the dolly grip, like with AO cut, I'll just hear, nailed it. It's a common saying on our show. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. So I just wanted to first of all say that in episode 22, the scene between you and Mary, you were phenomenal. I think a lot of people agree with that.
I haven't seen it.
It was really good.
Honestly, like I don't know how that turned out. That was kind of one of those things where you just throw it out there and kind of like the mirror scene. Like I haven't seen it, so it was okay.
We all cried.
So my question is that Dean kind of got his moment with Mary in terms of letting out how he felt, and I think it was much needed throughout the season, so it felt more like a build-up. And at the same time, I feel like that Sam didn't really get to let out any of his anger or frustration maybe throughout the season as much. And maybe the reason why that he wanted to lead rather than be a follower, and the way that Dean kind of said, okay, you can do this because you've got this, was because he needs to let it out. Did you feel that maybe Sam needs to show more emotion, maybe in terms of anger and frustration? Did you feel that?
Possibly. Yeah, it could have been a little bit more troubling for him. But I think given the context of the storylines and the fact that, you know, Mom was involved with the British Men of Letters, and he kind of got roped into being a part of that. Sure, he could have been upset and. Everything all right? Is there a fire alarm? Do we need to leave the building?
It's like 8 different noises.
Misha's photo up? So nobody needs to leave then. It's too easy. So I don't know. I think it was fine. I think it was. I mean, look, I'm not going to tell Jared that he played a scene wrong, because I think his choices, in my opinion, he makes right choices. I think he does a pretty good job of portraying Sam.
Yeah, sure.
And I would never question his motives for portraying that character. I will, however, give him little, like if I see him doing a scene and I maybe think that could have been, this moment could have been better, or this line could have been highlighted a little bit more, or he was missing a piece of the story a little bit, then I'll say it to him. I'll be like, hey, hit that moment a little bit more. And he'll be like, you're right. And he does the same for me. And I think it's one of the reasons we work so well together, is because we literally have each other's backs, and we're looking out for each other. And that's not something that even a director would come up and be like, hey Jared, listen, I like what you're doing with the character, but if I could just give you a note. Jared would be like, I've been playing this character for 12 years. Shut up. So literally there is only one person that he and I would listen to as far as giving tonal character notes, and that's each other. You brought up something that made me think of a little story, which is, so the scene with Mary has a funny backstory. When I read it, and I don't know, some of you maybe have heard this or we've talked about it, but when I read it, I was like, there it is. Meaning, at at the end of last season, when Amara looked at Dean and said, "I'm going to give you what you need the most," I would have thought it would have been his father. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan's not available. Because he's awesome and he works constantly. So I was like, oh my God, they're gonna try to get Jeff back. And then they're like, no, we're gonna bring Mom back. And I was like, interesting choice. Okay. And for the entire season, Jensen, had a hard time processing that for Dean. And I think it kind of read that Dean was almost he was unsure about the relationship with Mom. And he didn't know why. And I didn't know why. And it was kind of weird. And I love Samantha to death. I think she is one of the sweetest people on the planet. But as far as from a character standpoint, like, there was kind of a friction, or not even a friction. There wasn't a it wasn't cohesive, and for me that troubled me because I like to find that connection with another character, and I think that's one of the things that drives the show the way it does is the relationships between the brothers, the relationship between Dean and Cass, the relationships between Crowley, even, like all of those relationships have a place and they have some sort of a cohesiveness. And I struggled to find that with Mary, and it bothered me. And I couldn't understand. I was like, why am I having such a difficult time like finding that gel, finding that pocket with my mom? And making sense of what the darkness had said at the end of last season. And when I got the script for 22 and I read that scene, I was like, there it is. That's what Dean needed the most, was to forgive his mother. And so Robert Behrens, who wrote that script, was on set that day because a lot of times at the end of the season, the writers of the scripts will come up and visit the set to watch their episodes get filmed. And it's at the end of the season because they don't have any other scripts to write. Because in the beginning of the season, they're already working on their next script and they got to write it and they got work to do. So Bob Behrens came up and he was sitting behind the monitors, and I remember walking up to him and I was like, hey man, I got to thank you for literally clearing up the entire season for me with in respect to the Dean and Mary relationship. And he's like, how do you mean? I was like, well, you know, where I say that, you know, I forgive you. I hate you, but I love you, and I forgive you. And he was like, what? I was like, what? Don't mess with me. That's right into the last season. He's like, uh-huh. So I don't know if he was messing with me, but if that was a mistake, that was the happiest accident that I've ever experienced. Because for me, that's what I played. When I had that scene with Samantha, I was playing that. I was playing that this is why you came back. This is why God and the darkness gave you back to me for this catharsis, this cathartic moment. And I don't know, I was very, very happy with that turn in the script, and it was heavy. It was very heavy, and I remember I wasn't going I wasn't gonna cry. I literally remember that I was like, all right, don't do tears because that's the obvious. Like that's, and the script called for it. The script was like, and Dean with tears running down his face. And I was like, don't tell me to cry. I hate that. I told Bob that. I told Barons that. I was like, hey, listen, don't put that in there. If it happens, it happens. But don't make me feel bad if it doesn't happen and you wrote it in there. So I remember reading it and I'd be like, nope, that ain't gonna happen. Screw you. And then when we started working and I just started doing the scene and the emotion kind of started flooding me and then it was real. That was a real moment. And like I felt for Dean because I knew what that meant for him. And so to be able to emote emotions of a character that you care so deeply about, it's pretty special. I'm a lucky guy to be able to do that for 12 years. So thanks. What? No, we're getting heavy. We're getting real here. Is it?
I said before the panel started, no streaming, and someone is doing the streaming. Now I'm taking it down, so you have less panel. I told you not to do that. Why are you doing that? So, I want the girl that
Who is it?
Yeah, I want the girl that is doing the streaming, we know who you are, out. Because I told you, like 20 minutes ago, and you didn't listen to me. This is not going to happen, right?
Oh, wow.
So out.
I'm not gonna mess with her. However, music.
And here goes your cover.
Are these clean? Or has Adams drank from them? What is that? Alright, I gotta drink some apple juice. Hang on.
My sister has forever closed her smiling Irish eyes. Now everybody's died, so till the tears
Cheers. Woo! That apple juice is strong. What? I gotta leave now? Nah, one more question. Where am I?
Here.
There? There. I think I'm over there. All right. Hi.
Hi, Jensen. You made it a little hard for me because you basically answered my question already.
Well, there you go.
But,
Happy to help.
I want to ask what you think about Dean's ability to forgive the people he loves for just about everything. And if you think that this is something you have in common with Dean?
Yeah, no, I don't forget people. I would say that Dean holds more of a grudge than Jensen would. I tend to let things go because life's too short. Dean has that capability of harboring anger and resentment, which I know a lot of people can identify with, and it's something that I can identify with, which is also a reason why I make an effort to dismiss it. because again, life is too short. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, one last one. Hi.
Usually the domestication of one's parent happens gradually during late childhood and adolescence, and kids can get used to it. How do you think Sam and Dean reacted to the domestication of Mary as adults, and when it was so sudden since they didn't have years to process it?
Wow, glad we ended with that one. I think that, I mean, you look at the 12 seasons that we've done, unfolding these characters, peeling back the layers. One of the greatest joys of my life is that I've been able to play a character for this long because it's given me an ability to layer it. And, you know, when you get a script, like a movie, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the greatest thing that I've been given, as far as the show goes, is I haven't seen the end. All right. It's out there somewhere, we just haven't found it yet. But what that's done is that's given the brothers an ability and time to process not only what they're dealing with, which is crazy and supernatural, but also what the hand that they were dealt, what they were given by their parents, which was pretty difficult. And for these two men to, I say men now, we used to say boys. Seriously, I know, we gotta go. For them to go from boys to men. I went to a Boys to Men concert once. Little fun fact for you. To see what they've done with what they were given and what they've been dealt, I think is one of the great triumphs of this show. So, yeah. Thank you. Okay, thank you everybody. Gosh, I love you guys, and I love my apple juice. Good night. I'll see you in a little bit. Oh, that just fell in there, didn't it? Oops.